We're not going to start with with something that's going to make you want to puke, but we're going to get there right now. Listen to this. Theresa Tam, people. For anybody who doesn't know, this is Canada's chief medical health officer person thingy thing. This is Canada's chief medical officer who dictates policy and important stuff like that. This is the same doctor who, at one point in her reign, suggested that people contemplate wearing masks when engaging in sexual activity. This is the person who recommended people wear masks when engaging in sexual activity. Okay, but she's a doctor and I'm a lawyer, so I'm not going to, I'm going to stay in my lane and just trust this doctor when she says to prevent the spread of coronavirus, when engaging in sexual activity, consider wearing a mask. But now I'm going to listen to her on this, and listen to this, people. Listen to this. I'm going to mute myself so we don't hear echo. I've learned my lesson.
I think we are still trying to understand long COVID more, including the prevalence of long COVID post-infection. And there's various estimates. I think that at the WHO, estimates, the earlier estimates put it at 10 to 20%. But we know that more recent estimates have put it at maybe as high as 50%. For those who have been infected with COVID-19.
You didn't mishear. Our Dr. Theresa Tam is putting the estimates at people who might suffer from long COVID at 50% of people who have been infected with COVID. That is all I say. I'm just repeating the words. I'm not even commenting on it.
In summary, though, even now, we probably anticipate that the impact of long COVID is going to be quite substantial. And there's a huge range of symptoms that people are trying to understand. There's over 100 of them. There may be different underlying pathophysiology or pathogenesis for some of these symptoms that still has to be further understood. But I think while the data is relatively scant, there's emerging data to show that vaccines are able to provide a level of protection against long COVID. Some studies put it at 50% effectiveness. That still has to be further studied. But I do think that the vaccine plus approach is still the way to go.
People. This doctor, the evidence is scant, the stats are scant, the information is scant. So let me just go out on a wild conclusion and make not just a wild prediction about 50% of people who get infected with COVID suffering from long COVID, but also let me go, the evidence is scant. Let me make projections based on the efficiency and the efficaciousness of certain Fauci juices in terms of preventing that, which we don't even have enough information to know even exists in what percentage now, but she'll say 50%. 1 out of every 2 people suffers from long COVID. And what are the symptoms of long COVID, by the way? Just hypothetically, does anybody know what long COVID is and what the symptoms are? Let me just go to, I'm not a doctor. I'm going to stay in my lane, people. I'm not even going to express an opinion. I'm just going to read from, where are we at now? Hopkins Medicine. They're good. They have, Johns Hopkins is he's I think they're good. I've heard the name once or twice before. Long COVID. What is a post-COVID syndrome? What causes post-COVID syndrome? What causes symptoms in long haulers? What are the long-term effects of coronavirus? Let's read what Johns Hopkins says. These are the long COVID things. The things Dr. Theresa Tam is saying might affect 50% of people who have been infected with COVID. Breathing issues. It can cause scarring on the lungs, fine. Breathing issues in severe cases. Okay. Heart problems. SARS-CoV-2 infection can leave some people with heart problems, including inflammation of the heart muscle. In fact, one study showed that 60% of people who recovered from COVID-19 had signs of ongoing heart heart inflammation, which could lead to common symptoms of shortness of breath, palpitations, rapid heartbeat. Heart inflammation. Kidney damage. The sense of smell. Who gives a sweet bugger all about the sense of smell? Neurological problems. You know what else can cause neurological problems? Being locked in your house for 2 years. That can cause neurological problems. Nervous system problems. Mental health. Well, we knew about that. Diabetes. There's obviously a few that I find more interesting than others, but long story short, one does not have to hypothesize too hard to potentially fear what might be happening right now in real time. Look at what they're going to say is long COVID. Look at the amount of people they're going to say are going to be affected by long COVID. And you can put 2 and 2 together. And in this book, it ain't 4 people.